Have you ever felt like you have made a mess in Smartsheet? It is something that most professional users have done time and time again. We at Veridian have had to create a discipline for ourselves to manage how we build solutions and how we even work with each other when it comes to creating and manifesting different assets for a project. Today, I'm going to talk about 5 different rules that can help you remain disciplined on your solution and make sure that you don't end up making a mess for yourself or for the users that will inherit your solution. The first rule is that if it's not accessible on a dashboard, it doesn't exist. I can't tell you how many times users have set up many sheets and they have to search for it or use their recents, and that's great for you as the user who created it. But if you're wanting to build an asset that you have to share with others, it's just not going to work. So I very much recommend having a policy, an asset that you're using, that you're going to make live for your team. It has to go on the dashboard. It doesn't matter if it's just a report or if it's a specific link. It needs to be accessible on the dashboard because we have found that every solution needs a dashboard to manage it. It doesn't have to be an overly complex one with every metric you've ever seen. It just needs to have some clear navigation to the various assets that you have built. Rule 2, create folders. So I have seen way too many workspaces or even folders that have far too many assets of reports, sheets, and dashboards. This is not effective. When you're setting up various assets inside Smartsheet, you should never have more than 5 in a single folder. If you have more than 5, it is usually for a very specific reason. So for example, if I have maybe 12 reports for the 12 months of the year, then that makes sense for them to all be in some sort of folder. But when you have all these different types of assets in the same folder, it can get very confusing for a user. I can tell you right now that when a user navigates to a workspace with just a large list of assets, they get overwhelmed immediately. They need to be able to see quickly what the items are in that specific level. And if you have many different assets, that's okay. You just need to create a folder structure that can actually have a hierarchical structure around it. So if you have a lot of reports, that's okay. Your goal will be to create various folders, for example, dashboard facing reports, asset reports, and so forth, like whatever kind of categories you need to make sure it's very clear when the user is navigated into your folder structure, they understand where it's at. At the end of the day, when users have to dig around in the browser view, they will just get lost if they don't have a clear structure to follow. Item number 3, it's crucial that you create a navigation sheet. So here you can see in my navigation sheet that I have links to other assets. I keep it small and simple, but what's nice about it is that the user can quickly go to other assets that are related. I don't think if you have many different types of assets within the solution, you need to have everything. I would say then you would probably send them back to a key dashboard that would then be able to navigate down. However, if there are a few other very related types of sheets or reports, then maybe it is good to have it here. Basically, the idea is you want to cover the most common routes for your users. If they're needing to update something in the budget, then immediately update the plan. Then it would be good to have links between those two. We also leverage the sheet summary section on the right-hand side. You can create hyperlinks in here, and it can be easy to then navigate around, and it doesn't clutter your sheet. So this can be really powerful when you're wanting to have a kind of hidden access. Number 4, the golden rule is to always build for the user and not yourself. Now, maybe you are the user that's just creating an asset you're going to use. Even if that's the case, you're probably doing a job that may need to be inherited by someone else someday. You may move on to be promoted. You want to make sure that what you have built is very simple and clear. You want to make sure that that user can follow what you've done and understand how you've done it. So number 5, always make documentation. You don't have to be crazy with it, but this simple documentation sheet I have here is the bare minimum. You should never be making that many assets in Smartsheet and not having some sort of place where you've documented what they are. Otherwise, you're going to have trouble understanding what you've built in the future. In my sheet here, I have the asset, I have the type of asset it is, which is like the sheet, and then I have the purpose. You can go nuts with this. You could have the automations listed out. You could even have formulas making sure there's no errors happening in the sheet. You could have the sharing listed. All of these are powerful ways to keep organized for your solution. There are many other ways that you can make sure you keep discipline when it comes to building the solution. But just remember that however you're designing your solution, think of it as a place where others have to work and others have to leverage. So don't just build for yourself. Don't build complex tools that only you understand. It never works well. Somebody else inherits it later, and then they have so much trouble trying to use it before they end up having to scrap it sometimes. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please add your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe.